PTF and JK back with you. Big time action at Saratoga this Saturday in the form of the Jim Dandy Stakes, key historical prep for the Grade 1 Travers. Coming up later in the month, we've also got Grade 1 action in the form of the Vanderbilt, potentially a key prep race for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. JK, let's start off with the Jim Dandy. This is a field, the old cliche applies. It is maybe short on numbers, but long on talent. A six-pack, $1 Jason Blewett going to post here. Where does your eye go? We'll get to our picks at the end of the race, but let's talk about this race in terms of, it's the full quality of it, and then we'll drill down into a specific pick at the end. Where should we begin? The beaten Derby favorite?
Well, I mean, I think that the exciting part about this Jim Dandy is twofold, right? I mean, it's the winner of this kind of reasserts themselves, I think, or asserts themselves as a horse to be reckoned with in this 3-year-old conversation, right? Dornick did a lot last weekend, winning the Haskell, tied that up with what he did in the Belmont to be the leader in the clubhouse right now. But a Sierra Leone performance or a resurgence from Fierceness or even a Seize the Gray double up here could kind of start leading in the direction of there being a heck of a battle to the 3-year-old championship to the wire. And it's also like almost like a who's going to be Torpedo Anna's main competition in the Travers. Hopefully she runs there. I think the first conversation has to start with the pace. Like a lot of times I think in these races, you look down, you see a lot of horses that have ones in their past performances in terms of their body of the race and think that, oh, the pace is going to be fast, but it doesn't always materialize because you got a bunch of horses that kind of make the front, but don't go that fast. When you look at this race, the pace figures look legit for the horses that want to be forward. And you have a horse in Fierceness who I believe, we believe that his best chance to win this race is to be aggressive. He hasn't really shown that he wants to sit off of horses outside of his Breeders' Cup Juvenile and pass other horses. I feel like this pace has to be quick. And if that's the case, looks like Sierra Leone might get the pace that he's always been looking forward to close into.
You've absolutely seeing this, I think, the same way that I am. It should be even just with the 6 horses, it should be a burn up. When I heard about this race, when I saw the first names on the overnight before looking at the PPs, I was like, oh, drat, am I going to have to pick Fierceness again? Because I really didn't want to. Again, I don't regret him as a pick in the Derby. I thought there was a real chance, based on the brilliance we've seen from him, that he was going to be, and still could prove to be, a horse who has more upside than any in the generation. But I don't know. I just didn't want to particularly go back to that well here. After seeing the pace that you describe, I do think it's possible for us to go in another direction. And I think we might be leaning the same way based on what you were saying there. I mean, for me, Seize the Gray, a runner whom I just don't fully trust, I think really did have a lot of things his own way in the Preakness win. I felt like the last time they elected not to really, they were in the front, but it wasn't like a hard send front. If they do decide to be more aggressive this time, the way the rest of this pace shakes out, it could be tough for him. What do you think of this runner, Pony Express, who on pace figures could be the early leader here? Is this horse just a pace factor, or is this horse a candidate to maybe pull an upset?
Well, we know what happens when the West Coast dirt horses come out to the East Coast. Most of them are trained by the silver-haired fella. Congratulations to him, by the way, on getting back into the Kentucky Derby. But Pony Express, look, he's got real speed. I just worry he's going to have some horses to deal with. I wouldn't have a problem if anyone was really into the horse or liked the horse in this spot. I think it's an interesting situation. Remember, once upon a time, there was the John Sadler can't ship conversation. I think he's too good of a horseman for that to be an actual situation. So yeah, I don't have a problem with Pony Express. The problem is although at the top of the show, I kind of set it up, this is a fast paced race that falls right into the hands of Sierra Leone. I'm actually going to pick one of the horses I think is going to be forward.
Oh, interesting. Spoiler alert. I like that. I was sure you were going Sierra Leone. Let me tell you, we'll get to those picks and our analysis of the Grade 1 Vanderbilt in a minute, but do want to tell you that this video is brought to you by our friends from winnercircleproxy.com. You can compete for $16 million in guaranteed cash prizes in the world's biggest NFL contest. We're talking about the ones at Circa Sports in Las Vegas. You've got the Circa Survivor contest and also the Circa Million, where you pick against the spread. Winner's Circle Proxy makes it so easy to play. You do have to get to Vegas to sign up, but from there, Winner's Circle Proxy takes care of the rest of it. You just got to get your trip scheduled. They can help you with that as well. You can win your share of 16 million. Winner's Circle Proxy clients won $7 million in 2023 alone. NFL, it's not too far away. Get in on the action and your chance to take a bite of that 16 million. Go to winnerscircleproxy.com/ITM. Book your appointment today and let them know that your friends from In the Money Media sent you. Little other bits of quick housekeeping here. JK, we want to encourage folks to subscribe to the In the Money YouTube channel. We are getting so close to that 10,000 subscriber goal. We just hit 2 million views. That's a pretty cool one, but we really want that 10,000. And if everybody watching this video just went right now and did it, we would be there in no time. So make sure to subscribe. Also, tell your friends about In the Money Media, whether it's the YouTube channel or In the Money Players podcast. We appreciate all that extra support. That word of mouth is one of the best things when it comes to podcasts and helping people find the shows. Also, leave us a comment. We want to know what you think about the Vanderbilt and the Jim Dandy. I'll jump in with my Dandy pick first. I think the setup is going to be too much for Sierra Leone. I think this horse, as good as he's been, still has an opportunity to take a step forward in the right situation. Didn't break all that well last time. Watching the race back, I think it might have even been a little bit better than it looked. Sierra Leone, I still think, is ready for his, proper coming out party now as a more mature summer 3-year-old. I think this is going to be it. Who do you like in the Jim Dandy? And then we'll get to the Vandy.
Yeah, look, I'm a sucker and for speed. And I love the draw for Fierceness. I love the fact that Todd just kind of hit the reset button with Fierceness, giving the 84-day break. There's so many things about what Fierceness has appeared to be that I'm just not really ready to give up on. He ran extremely fast as a 2-year-old. He ran extremely fast in the Florida Derby as a 3-year-old. And I just can't buy the fact that he's not that good. He rated in the juvenile, and I think he'll rate here. I think he'll have some pace to chase. I think that he'll be able to be out there kind of freewheeling and be comfortable. I think the 1 1/8 probably helps him a little bit more. Maybe it's the 1 1/4 of the Kentucky Derby that might have been a little bit more of a problem. I just all signs feel good to me. And let's not forget that annoying rumor on Derby week that Fierceness was going to scratch. I suppose there's a world in which that maybe there was something going on. Maybe he had a little bit of an issue. Maybe there was something nagging that didn't prevent him from running, but did prevent him from running his best. At what's likely to be the second choice, I don't think the third choice, likely the second choice here. I'm going to give Fierceness one more shot, but I promise you, if he lets me down here, I'm signing the divorce papers.
I'll say this. As you're talking, I'm thinking about it. And I don't think he's a horse that wants to rate, like, sit in hand. But I think he's a horse who's happy to go fast if there's just somebody happening to go faster, but he's still within himself, but not, you know what I mean? I think there's something mental that happens to a horse where they don't want to reserve energy. It could just be a perfect setup from that 6 hole. For me, I mean, it's not an easy way to play the race in terms of equity, but maybe I do want to make this a lone A Sierra, lone B Fierceness, because I could see that trip happening. Just got a couple minutes left, JK. I do want to go from the Dandy to the Vandy and talk about grade 1 action happening earlier on the card here. I'll just get to my pick really quickly in this spot. I'm a believer in Skelly at this point. This looks like the fastest horse. Again, I love that outside draw sometimes in these short fields. Gives that rider, in this case, Ricardo Santana Jr., tactical advantage. They can go right to the lead, but if somebody wants to go on a mission, they can get in a good spot. Not going to have their hand forced. You know, I've made the analogy many times before. I liken it to sitting on the button in poker where Santana, everybody else will play their hands before he has to play his. This is a fast horse. We've talked about my love of Asmussen on dirt in Saratoga before. Skelly looks very tough to beat to me, but obviously it's not a one-horse race. Who do you like? You were on mute, my friend. That never happens on these shows. That's a podcast thing.
Yeah. So that's good, though. Introduce the YouTube channel to that very common activity. You know how much I love speed, especially going 6 furlongs on the dirt. I think Skelly is a very talented sprinter. The problem is that Skelly's kind of been beating up on Lesser. At some point during this race, Skelly is going to get run at by Subrogate, who's gotten really darn good. He's going to get run at by Baby Yoda, who likes Saratoga more than you and I both combined. And to me, it's going to set up perfectly for my old friend Nakatomi, who I thought ran an outstanding race in the Breeders' Cup. He ran so good there. He came back, did not run that well, but he obviously got a pretty significant break since then. I think he's going to get the pace that he wants to close into in this tight 6 furlongs where I think his late kick will be exaggerated. I love Nakatomi in the Vanderbilt on Saturday.
I will put in just a quick word for Subrogate, because the form of that race from Belmont Day with my namesake, the 10-strike runner, looms boldly. Form of that race working out very, very well. And I think that was a legit figure. Looms boldly may have been a little bit flattered by the track. We'll leave that argument for another day. But when Subrogate does well, I feel the reflected glory for Looms boldly. So I don't know that I will be betting him in this salty spot, but I'd love to see him run well. I understand your case for Nakatomi. I'm going with Skelly. We'll see if we can get a winner. Check out our sponsors, inthemoneypodcast.com. Actually, we'll do it the other way. We'll go winnerscircleproxy.com/ITM. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about these races, and make sure to subscribe so you can get some more great content from In the Money Media. For JK, I'm PTF. May you win all your photos.